I thought the first episode of a channel named Real Women Unscripted should sound polished, confident, and like I arrived somewhere. But the truth is, I haven't. I'm not fully unscripted yet, but I'm becoming. And perhaps this is the most honest place where to start this channel. Being fully unscripted does not mean that you wake up one morning and all of your fears, guilt, pressures about expectation of others as well as your own expectation of yourself, your old stories, or the insecurity that come from wanting to prove yourself to others magically disappear. At least not for me. For me, what being unscripted means is starting to notice. Notice when I'm performing. Notice when I'm acting a little bit off of what my true self really desire. Noticing when I hold back in rooms just to fit in. Noticing when I don't bring up the elephant in the room because I don't want harmony to be disrupted. And perhaps that's where most of us are. Not fake, not lost, not broken, but becoming. I'm Katya. This is Real Women Unscripted. I am so grateful you're here. Come and join me on the journey to becoming unscripted. I want to start with saying something important about this channel. It is not about perfectionism. It is not about being authentic 100% of the time. I still overthink. I still second guess. I still ask myself, did that conversation land well? Did I say too much? Should I have said more? Was I too direct? Was I too soft spoken? Did I make my point? Was I effective and helpful? And perhaps this is exactly why this channel needs to happen. Many women are not struggling because they do not know who they are. Women know who they are. What they're struggling with is how they've been trained to behave and act in certain situations. And they've been doing it for so long that their true self becomes unfamiliar to them. We learn what gets rewarded. So be nice, be kind, be gentle, be honest, but not too much. Be strong, but don't make people uncomfortable. Speak up, but make it palatable. These are all roles that we have learned to play along. We play it so well, we're so used to do them that we forget it's a role to begin with. I think a lot of women live that way. Perhaps not in every aspect of their life, but in some aspects. Somewhere along the line, we learn how to become what can be tolerated. When I say unscripted, I mean the beliefs, roles, and expectation that we carry quietly and tell us how to behave. Some script come from your family, your friends, your relationship, your church, your culture, your work. Some are due to survival needs. Some are because you're being the strong one or the dependable one, the responsible one. Some from being praised only when you're helpful, and some from being scolded for being too honest. Some from telling you directly or indirectly that who you are is very inconvenient. But don't get me wrong, not all scripts are always this mean or cruel. A lot of scripts makes you responsible. They sound like, I promise, so I need to deliver. I have more than most, so I have nothing to complain about. I shouldn't want for anything else. I'm truly blessed. I'm strong, so I should be fine. Let me say it again because that one is very dangerous. I am strong, so I should be fine. How many women is being praised for being strong, so much so that nobody worries about if they're falling apart? How many women have been praised for being helpful, but never asked if they needed help themselves? How many have made peace looking effortless only because chaos depended on whether that person could keep it together or not? Those are all scripts. And the tricky part about scripts is that they start from protection. They help you navigate difficult situation. They keep you safe. Sometimes they even help you survive a season. But will help you overcome a season may well prevent you from moving forward in the next. So the question at some point become, is this still me? Or is it who I learned to perform? That question is very uncomfortable and yet so freeing. One of the scripts that many women carry is the strong woman script. And let me be clear, strength is not the problem here. Strengths help us build family, protect children, have careers, and survive situations that nobody even knows about. This is not a criticism of strength. This is a question of what happens when strength is the only thing you're recognized for, when strength is your entire identity, when you're allowed to be competent but not vulnerable, useful but not needy, resilient but not exhausted, supportive but not supported. When everyone loves your strength because it benefits them, that's where it gets complicated because strength can feel wonderful, powerful, it gives you energy, it keeps you going, it carries through amazing portion of your life as well as hard parts. It's very meaningful, but it can become a trap, a very sophisticated trap. People may admire you for carrying everything, but admiration is not the same as support. People may praise you for never complaining, but silence is not the same as being at peace. People may say, I don't know how you do it. And your honest answer is, I don't know either. But what you never dare to say is, and I don't want to do it like this anymore. This is what becoming unscripted means. Not rejecting strength, but redefining strength. So let's talk about what is strength. Maybe strength is not carrying everything quietly. Maybe strength is telling the truth before resentment is the only language you have left. Maybe strength means asking for help before your body stops you. Maybe strength is saying, I can do this, but I shouldn't have to do it by myself. And perhaps strength is saying, I am tired and not feel like it is failure. Living scripted can look successful from the outside. That's why it's hard to spot. You have the title, the career, the family, the house, the vacation, the competence, the skills, the confidence, all of the things. And yet, it feels like along the way, you became a function more than a person. You became the person that handles all things, the one that keeps calm, the one that figures things out, the one that keep it all working. And again, there is nothing wrong with being capable, but there is something painful about being valued for what you can carry. There is something painful about being valued for how you make other people feel, but not for being known for what you are underneath it all. There is something painful about having a life that looks just fine from the outside, while on the inside you keep asking yourself, is this all there is to it? And that whisper matters. Because the unscripted version of you generally doesn't come out gun blazing and loud and obnoxious. It usually starts with a whisper, a soft question, a little discomfort, a moment where something used to be just fine and now it feels heavy. The moment when you realize, I don't want to perform anymore to keep the peace. I do not want to keep calling exhaustion discipline. I do not want to continue to confuse loyalty with self abandonment. I do not want to continue to be grateful for a life that requires me to disappear. That is not selfish. That is awareness. And awareness is where becoming begins. Sometimes when we talk about becoming, people make it dramatic. Quit everything, move, start a whole new life, start from complete scratch. And sometimes, yes, sometimes a major change is exactly the catalyst to the new you. But more often than not, it's the little things, the little switch when you start noticing when you say yes, but your mind is saying, no, I don't want to do that. Noticing when you call something a choice, but it feels like an obligation instead. Noticing when you're doing something that is worthy, but it doesn't 100% align with who you are. So you're just doing it because on the outside is a worthy reason to do it. Noticing when you perform the version of you that everybody else prefers. That's where it all starts. Not a perfect plan, not a fully, this is how I'm going to heal myself head to toes, not with total confidence, but with noticing and with asking better questions, such as, do I really want this? Did I choose this? Or is it something that I inherited? Am I really being kind or am I just avoiding conflict? Am I helping or am I rescuing? Am I being strong or am I avoiding saying that I need support? Is this really my responsibility? Who benefits from me being silent? That last one is a big one. So let me say it again. Who benefits from you being silent? Because sometimes our silence is called maturity. Sometimes it's called wisdom. Sometimes it's keeping the peace. Sometimes it's called professionalism or being the bigger person or being the strong one, the dependable one. But sometimes being silent is the script winning. Becoming unscripted means learning the difference from when you're performing and when you're being true to yourself. One of the questions I keep coming back to is this a choice? Or is it an obligation that I dressed up as a choice? That question has showed up for me in small ways and big ways many times. Even with this channel, I have asked myself, do I want to look a certain way on camera because it feels good to me? Or because I think this is the only way other people will accept me? Do I want to prepare because I want to feel confident? Or do I want to prepare because I'm scared of being judged by others? Do I want to speak truthfully? Or am I so worried to get it right that I lose the intimacy of the relationship and the connection that I'm trying to create with you? And I think those are valid questions because the goal is not to reject effort. The goal is not to say, I don't care about it all. I don't care about anything anymore. I'm unscripted. The goal is to be honest about where does this effort come from. It is the difference between choosing something because it honors you and who you are, or choosing to do it because you feel like without it, you're not enough. There is a difference between preparation and hiding. There is a difference between wanting to show up well and feeling like you can only be worth it if you show up flawlessly. And these differences matter. Sometimes the exact same action can come from two different perspectives. Makeup can be a choice or it can be an armor. Dressing up can be the way you express yourself or the way to feel liked. Helping someone can be love or can be enabling. Working hard can be purpose, but it can also be avoidance. Being strong can be beautiful, but it can also be a prison. So becoming unscripted is not judging from the outside. It's asking what's happening on the inside. Do I really want to do this? What am I afraid will happen if I didn't continue to do this? Who am I trying to satisfy? Would I still choose this if no one would reward me for it? That is where the real work is. I wanted the first episode to begin here because I do not want Real Women Unscripted to become yet another place where women feel the need to perform healing. That would entirely defeat the purpose of this channel. I do not want to pretend that every episode will be neat. You probably already saw. It's my first one. Things will get better, but there will still be some episodes where it gets messy, where emotion gets in the way, where I'm not pronouncing things correctly, because after all, I'm from Italy. Some episode may be challenging because nothing changes if we don't question our core beliefs that we've been taught for so long. And that work sometimes is uncomfortable and even a little painful. And I want that. Not necessarily that you're in pain. Get me right. Nobody should go through pain in my ideal world. But from my experience, uncomfort, or should I say discomfort, comes with a little bit of pain. But what is it the other side? Is transformation, is change, and is the better version of you that doesn't require you to drain your batteries and never recharge them. You will be better for yourself. But the wonderful thing about it is you will be even better for all that are around you. Real life is not monotone. Women are not just one thing. We're strong and tired, grateful and restless, capable and overwhelmed sometimes, loving and occasionally a little bit resentful, confident and at times insecure, wise and yet still learning, completely done and yet still hopeful. We can be all of that. That is the point. Real Women Unscripted is the place for conversation that help us become more of ourselves. Not the performance version, not the approved version, not the version built around keeping everybody else comfortable, but the real version. The one with questions, the one with scars, the one with humor and boundaries, the one with dreams that do not disappear only because life gets complicated. And if you're here, maybe something is becoming within you too. Perhaps you don't know what it looks like yet, and that's okay. You do not need to know everything before you begin the process. You just need to be willing to tell yourself the truth, even quietly, even imperfectly. Even if the truth is simply say, I'm not fully unscripted, I am becoming. So I want to leave you with a few questions. No pressure, no homework, just simple question to reflect on. Where in your life do you feel like you're performing? Where are you being praised, but that is costing you too much? Where in your life are you calling it a choice, but it really feels more like an obligation? Where have you been strong, but in reality is you being unsupported? Where have you been silent because it was easier than explaining your truth? And I would genuinely love to hear from you in the comments. What scripts are you ready to question? Not because you need to have the answer today, but because sometimes naming it is the first brave step. You can comment with a full thought, a sentence, or even just a word. The most important thing is that you're honest. That's where it all begins. That is enough for today. That is the beginning. If this conversation spoke to some part of you, I hope that you stay in touch through this channel. Real Women Unscripted is not about having it all figured out. It's about being open and honest on the journey to become unscripted. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next episode.